wake that ass up.
In the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club, and we got some special guests joining us. I think this is the most guests we've ever had.
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen an actual cast. When they say the cast is like one person, two people.
Cast.
It's the whole cast.
The cast of Blackening is in the building. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
How y'all feeling?
Good.
We got to name names individually, man.
Okay, well, let's start off. Yvonne Orji.
What's good?
We're going to take attendance.
Jay Farrow.
Present.
Grace Byers. Antoinette Robinson and Dwayne Perkins.
Hey, what up?
All right.
Talk to us about the Blackening, man. What is the Blackening?
Dwayne.
It is a movie about a group of friends that go to a cabin for a Juneteenth celebration, and then they find themselves stalked by a psycho killer, and then they have to, not die.
The black person always dies in the beginning. Who died in the beginning?
Oh, man.
No, we can't.
I'm just joking. I see it. Now, is this the type of movie that you guys would actually be a part of? Like, go to a cabin in a white area and feel like that at all?
That's
Absolutely
so problematic.
not.
Like already going to a cabin in a white area without backup
Why?
is already problematic.
Well,
That's a horror film in real life.
I love that the movie calls it out though, because it's just like, why are we here and who did this? Like, who? Because that's how most scary movies start. It's like, okay, we just stumbled upon this cabin in the west, and it's like somebody calls them out and is like, yo, why? Whose idea was this? Like,
A cabin in the woods, really?
But the twist of the movie is that the killer is like whoever is the blackest, is gonna get knocked off.
So for people that don't know, you guys have to play a game.
Yes.
Now, what is this game about?
The game is called The Blackening, and it is a game that's forcing these friends to determine who's the blackest to see who dies first. Because, that's the trope.
Black trivia, black culture.
Black trauma
question.
trivia.
Okay, Antoinette, what does thought mean?
What is what?
Thought.
That H-O-E over
we're
there.
gonna play Black
Okay.
Trivia for a second.
I love that you were like,
What does that mean?
Yvonne, if Young Metro don't trust, what might Future do? If Young Metro don't trust you?
if Young Metro don't trust you,
I'm
Nope.
I
I guess I did. But what's the answer to that?
I'll shoot you.
Shoot.
What years did Cash Money Records tell us they were taking over?
Cash Money.
2000.
Okay, all right.
99.
You're dead. You said
I'm
nothing.
not.
She was like, I'm from the Caribbean.
I will fail you. I will fail you.
According to your mama, she said she'll give you what if you start crying?
Something
Something
to
to
cry
cry
about.
There you go.
Love.
Now, this is a tough one.
That's so parenting. That's not my mama.
This is a tough one. How many fights did the Fresh Prince get into before his mom got scared?
One little fight.
One little fight.
One tiny one. Just one little baby fight.
You know, the person who jumps in first is the person like, I gotta get this answer right. I don't know what's going on.
I've
after.
watched Fresh Prince so many times, and I'm like, I've listened. I know the original song.
Yeah, what's the
original song?
Remember the original song where he goes beyond, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, the full song.
And I was nice and relaxed and I'm chilling and whatever.
No, go ahead.
That's it.
No.
I know it. I didn't say I remembered it.
You're already alive. No need to continue.
Now, you're one of the writers of the movie, right?
Yes.
So what made you want to put this movie out June 18th and having it be about the June 18th celebration?
That
That comes out June
Juneteenth,
16th.
I should say. Juneteenth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes out the 16th.
Yeah.
Juneteenth celebration, I should say.
From the sketch to the feature, we just really wanted to put it in a space that was like about blackness and freedom, and they're trying not to die and they're fighting for the freedom, and what better time to do it than on Juneteenth? But yeah, no, we were just trying to pack it with as much things from the culture as possible, and hopefully it becomes like a Juneteenth movie.
It's interesting that it's through the
Not a cult classic.
Yeah.
it's interesting that it's through the lens of comedy and horror, because I feel like that is the black experience in America.
Yeah, like I can't go through a trauma without cracking a joke. Like that's just what it's gonna be. Levity is the, I think, antithesis to fear. Yeah.
And also, that's the only way black people can really see a horror film. They're like, black people. I've told people, they're like, I don't know that I'm going to see. I was like, but it's a comedy as well. Okay, I can laugh at it. I'm like, yeah, it's a satire, guys.
Yeah, it's like,
because they're like, so we just gonna be dying, and is it like
Exactly.
traumatic? I'm like,
We
no,
have
that's
enough
not 12
trauma
years
as
a
it
slave. It is.
Yeah. One thing this movie isn't, it's not black trauma porn. Like the world is used to ingesting that. Like it's fun. It's an interactive experience. We celebrate black culture. Of course, there are instances where we're supposed to quantify our blackness, which we know is ludicrous, but we bring the conversations up. Like, okay, well, I can't say that you're not as black because you're lighter skinned or whatever the case may be.
Watch your mouth.
Like-
Watch your mouth. Continue on. Continue on, man.
Or case in point, like Gracie and I are both Caribbean. So it's like we have the conversations that we have behind closed doors and in the group chat, but out loud with everybody in the world. And it's a pretty great experience.
But you guys also talk about things that we all deal with, like, being in the store and somebody following us around, or the park ranger, stopping somebody because you're not supposed to be in this neighborhood. So I know writing that was part of a little freeing too. Like, this is the ish that happens all the time.
Yeah, like it was actually wild. Me and Tracy talk about it pretty often, how we were surprised that they allowed us to keep it as black as it was, because we were just like, we just gonna write what we want, what makes us laugh, and then by the final version, we said, damn, they really kept a lot of niggas in here.
A lot of niggas in
Dwayne,
there.
speak to that though, because they don't. As much as they scream diversity and inclusion, it's just like, they don't want things to be too black.
Yeah, I would say that is one of the privileges of doing it as an indie first, is that there was less cooks in the kitchen to tell us how to display blackness. And the people that who were white, they just gave us the freedom because they didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. So they were like,
So you weren't nervous at all? Because, it's a lot of niggas in it, but that's how we speak, right? But they're like, nigga, it's Juneteenth. You know what I mean? But it was never a fear like, maybe we need to take some of those. So they didn't. They just let y'all do you.
yeah, no, I don't really move with that fear. My whole life has been consuming media that was not made for me, so I don't feel inclined to put my point of view through a funnel for people that are not of me. If you don't know, then figure it out, to be honest.
What pisses y'all off more? White executives that don't know what they talk about, or black executives that don't know what they talk about? Like culturally clueless black executives.
I don't know that they're culturally clueless. I think they are just part of a regime that doesn't give them the space to be as black as they may want to be, because in order to keep their jobs, they have to conform, and
Fall
I think
in line a little bit more.
that's why I'm not an executive.
You
I
can see
am
it by
because
the
I got a deal,
conversation.
but not like that.
You can see it by the conversation that you have behind, like we all kind of permeate in the same world, right? So you have these conversations behind closed doors, and you can instantly tell that someone is a little bit more contrived. They might lean in, but then they kind of look like, it's that, man, I'm really rocking with y'all. There's a lot more of that, and you can instantly tell like who's who in that space.
How was working with these comedians? Because these are comedians that I crack jokes all day long. So how could y'all take them serious at all on set?
No. It was the best experience of my entire life. There's so many instances where if Dwayne isn't cutting up, it's Jermaine Fowler cutting up, or Melvin Gregg. There are instances where we're supposed to be crying, and I'm biting inside of my cheeks because he's behind the camera making all these faces at me, or like saying, or like gyrating or something crazy. Like, it was such a pleasure to work with them. They're all like so immensely talented. And just, it was so nice to be free in a space with people who love to do what they do, and like could be unapologetic about it. There were no overseers. It was very like undiluted blackness. We can be free. There's no code switching. It was just, it was overall a great
I also
experience.
encourage like the improvisation as well too.
Yeah.
Because if you once you see the film, we could talk about how much we just had so much fun improving, doing so many crazy things. And the more freedom that we felt we had, the more we were able to really delve in and really push into those characters and really play.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that Tim kept it, because I'm used to playing and no one keeps it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, that's finna get cut anyway. So, you kept it.
So how
You know,
much was
so-
off script? Because I mean,
a lot.
Really?
But here's the thing. When Dwayne and Tracy got to that script, it was insane. So the script, we had a great foundation to begin with, right? So it's not like improv off of something that needed it necessarily. We were just playing, we were just having fun. But a lot of it, Dwayne was just like, do you, boo?
Yeah.
And also to have like a director, like LeVon was about to say about like Tim. I think Tim is so supportive in
Tim Story.
In that space.
Yeah, Tim
Shout out to
Story.
Tim Story, one of the
Timothy.
greats. But he would literally always come to us when we would ask a question. I think instinctually we would ask like, hey, does this fit here? I don't try it.
Yeah.
Throw it out.
Yeah.
And he would consistently be like, that sounds, do you like it?
Yeah.
He'd be like, I think try it. Throw it out. And so you become so confident in your choices and free in your choices and feeling supported to play.
Yeah.
And then that's why when it cuts, you go, okay, wow, it all kind of landed, all kind of worked.
And that's the good thing about Tim, because he'll let you get 3 different type of takes. So the first take, he'll be like, by the book. The second one, he'll be like, okay, go a little more. And the third one, he's just like, all right, have fun.
This one's
And
for
then-
free,
You was about to do it, Tim.
I was.
You was
but
about to throw Tim out.
It ain't no reason to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we know what I can do. But
I randomly will always tell Jay to throw out the most random people. Like we was playing pool one time, and I was just like, who do I said, throw out Viola Davis. I was like, give me somebody else. And he was like Viola Davis. He'll start
just
thinking
the
about
female Denzel.
Yeah.
You got a Viola? Jay? I never heard your Viola.
Well, no one's ever heard me do Viola before, but I do have one.
And where did y'all shoot this? Where did y'all shoot it?
Brentwood in
Brentwood,
LA.
yeah. Okay.
Like it was random that like there was just like this house, this like
Haunted
Creepy
as hell.
house.
yeah.
Creepy house.
Yeah.
just like in like next to the Palisades.
And how long did it take y'all to shoot?
Was it like 5
5
weeks?
weeks.
Five,
Yeah.
6 weeks. There was one time when we had a large lunch break, and it was during the pandemic. So I used to keep weights in my car. So me, Jermaine, and Melvin were standing outside in Brentwood on the side of the street just lifting weights. And then one of our ADs came out. He was like, "Yeah, the neighbors
You're
are
scaring
worried.
the white folks.
Can you guys move it onto the property? Because we were just like on the side of the
I
road.
would have
just
been like,
lifting."
nah, why they worried?
That was me. I was like, why they tripping? He was like,
Am I
you
doing
know,
something?
the thing is, you know, it's public property, it's private property. I was like, well, this is the street. They're like, no, we got to move it inside because I think they were looking out the windows like, yeah.
Prison
they
yard
did
workout.
They get ready to come for us.
You're right. Under the
Those
blinds.
three right there.
Why do you think it's been such a lack of black horror comedy movies? Because I feel like with the success of like not Scary Movie. What was the one?
Scream.
It was Scary Movie with Marlon. Like I feel like there would have been a lot more.
To be honest, I just think that the system, the people allowed to make the movies have just changed. There's just not a lot of people pushing for that. And if it is, it's in a lens that is digestible for white people. So you're not necessarily given the space to create horror comedies. And then I do think like Get Out was like a big moment. And this industry runs on shit that people have already seen.
Yeah.
And so they were like, that is what works. That is what we want. And that was not comedic. That's very far from Scary Movie. So I'm hoping that the Blackening kind of like creates another like point in the like lexicon of horror comedy so that executives in the industry can see like what black people can do that's not just within Scary Movie or Get Out. But yeah, I just think niggas are unoriginal.
Jesus Christ. That sounded like a white executive. Niggas are unoriginal.
Now, for each one of y'all, what made y'all want to do this movie when y'all seen the script? What was like, oh, this is for me?
Wow.
Because this is pandemic too.
Yeah. I mean, well, for me, it's innovative, man. It's never been done before. You've never seen so many black people represented this way. Like we could say it, we're not monoliths, you know. And you know, it's just it's time for people to have fun again, especially with the arduousness of the last few years shit we've been going through. So it just seemed fun. It was like a slam dunk. And I've worked with Tim before, you know what I mean? I know how he works, and I was excited to work with this beautiful cast of folks. So to me, it was just different, and it just made sense. It's innovative, bro.
I want to hear that from everybody.
Yeah, what about you?
Yeah, a little play off of that as well too, and what you were saying as well. Like we've never really seen that before. We've never really seen the horror comedy aspect, especially with an all black cast. And I think also too, like this is my friend group. You know what I mean? And so to see yourself in that space, and then also let me get this mic because I don't know if y'all can even hear me. Okay,
There you go.
this mic. I think also too, it is our strength as black people that we span the spectrum of the diaspora, right? And so when you can see that reflected in a film, I think that representation goes a long, long way. Tim's story is a big deal. This cast was a big deal. The script was amazing, super funny, super smart. And so for me, it was a like an easy yes.
What about you, Yvonne? What attracted you to it?
I had watched the sketch, and what's funny is before, like literally the week before, I don't know if you know this, the week before I got the call for the movie, I had watched the sketch all over again because I was looking for the director to possibly direct my special. And so I had been like in the world of this. I was like, yo, this is real funny. Someone should do something with this. Cut to, I got the script. I was like, yo, this is for real happening. And so for me, one, it was hysterical. And then two, I appreciated the kind of breaking down the silly conversations of like what blackness really is, because it was that thing of like, even when President Obama came into office, it was like, he's not black enough. It's like, well, who has the patent on blackness? Like, I need to find this person who can define what blackness is, because, and we've even had this conversation on the show. It's like, as a Nigerian American, it's like, well, you don't know about the black experience. I was like, I know about a black experience. I don't know about every black, you know what I mean? So I love putting myself in conversations whereby we can like look at these tropes or whatever, these conversations, and hit them on the head. And then I got to play, be funny, and then, scream.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've said it so many times. I think for me, it always starts with story. It starts with who's involved. I think like it was funny, it was intelligent, and it was on time. The opportunity to work with Tim Story, to me, he's one of the greatest filmmakers that we have. I grew up loving him. I grew up loving him as a filmmaker. So I was like, okay, yes, I want to work with Tim Story, and I follow filmmakers, and I was like, yes. I read the script several times. I became more familiar with Dwayne. And I remember I had questions about the script that I was like, well, who wrote this? Like, why did they say this instead? They're like, well, actually, Dwayne wrote that. I was like, oh, okay. Like, he's informed, right? And then I was like, so who's playing Dwayne? Because we had to play off each other. They're like, Dwayne's playing Dwayne. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like,
that's why
okay,
I named him Dwayne.
Okay, cool. And I just felt like it had the opportunity to be executed well. I always read things and I say, what are the legs? So for me, I'm grateful that we're sitting in this position now of coming out and distribution, and Lionsgate is a part of it. Yeah. But I would be lying if I didn't think that we were going to be here. Because I think when I read something and it haunts me, and I go, ooh, I come back to it. And even if I'm like on the fence of a yes or a no, and I go, it's still on my mind, it's something that I have to run towards. And this script did that for me, especially coming out of the pandemic. I had done Resort to Love. We did Resort to Love together, and it was like a totally different comedic thing, right? But we had a lot of color in it. And this was just like even more infused and intelligent and smart. So for me, I was like, okay, this is something I haven't done yet. Yeah. So it's something I want to do. And then I already knew who the cast was. And to play with them, I was like, okay, let's do it.
For me, I was obsessed with the script. It was just so well written. But like, it's very rare that I read something that I see so many different hues of blackness. There's so many different Black women in this. You see them, we're all from different like backgrounds, we speak differently, we have different interests, but we're a friend group. The same thing with the men. Like, I love that Dwayne's character isn't just like the gay sidekick. Like, none of us were just limited to being the best friend or the sidekick. Like, we were fully fleshed out characters, and we're showing blackness in its full form, as opposed to seeing it diluted, which is what we usually see through the lens of whiteness. And so I was like, this is so smart, it's so funny. And although I'm terrified of horror movies, I felt like if I didn't do it, I would regret it. So yeah.
No, you wrote the whole script?
Yeah, me and Tracy.
Okay.
And what I liked about it is that as like a queer Black man, as an actor, I've never been afforded the opportunity to like be a lead in something, because things are very backwards. And so
he's like, y'all gonna hear this.
Lean into the mic.
Backwards was not the word you was looking for. He was like, things are very.
And so in order to like kind of break out of the box that I feel like Hollywood tries to put Black queer men in, I had to write a whole movie. And I hope that like people see that. I've been like, yeah, do you see the lengths that I have to go to? Like, for me to feel represented, I have to be that for myself. Like, that's cool, but also like, stop that.
Yeah.
That's what we want though, right? We just wish that they would green light more of that stuff.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And also, I have to say, the movie is really good. Like, if we've been getting the feedback from like people who've gone to the screening, it is the kind of movie you want to see at a Black theater. Matter of fact, make the theater Black, because you're yelling at the screen. Because like, there's some, like when I watched Creed, I was like, nah, we gotta go to Crenshaw. Like, I want to see this in Crenshaw. This is like, I'm gonna tell you a funny story. When I watched, what was it? Dreamgirls. I went to a Black theater. I don't know if they knew that it was a musical, because I'll never forget the one time that Jennifer Hudson started singing. Somebody was like, hey, come on, man, if they start singing one more time. I was like, this is the kind of movie-going experience that you want, and you're like, oh my God. So this is the movie theater experience that you have to probably see it twice, because somebody's going to be yelling at the screen, talking back. Now, why they do that? Like, it is so
interactive.
It's an interactive movie-going experience. It ain't 3D, but it is DD.
That was the sad thing. I got the screener, and I hated watching on my laptop. I mean, this is whack, because you want the big screen, you want the yelling and all that. Now,
Does that scare you? Being in the box office? Like having to come out in theaters, does that scare you?
Not at all, man. I think that's what we all want.
People are ready for it.
Because like Dwayne said earlier, I feel like it coming out Juneteenth weekend is going to create something that I'm hoping, not unlike July 4th, becomes a box office weekend that all studios are fighting for. And because we are coming out and establishing that, I'm excited for that. Because I think it's going to set a whole precedent of like, okay, now Juneteenth is a weekend that everyone wants.
Yeah.
And if you can own Juneteenth, then it's like you did something right with your film.
Yeah.
The blacks have actually been dominating the
Yeah,
movie. Have you like between?
Those
Those
One,
are the
two, three.
big block, but like these are the movies to me that really tell the tale of what black people can do.
Yes, The Little Mermaid, Spider-Man, Transformers. We coming out this week.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, okay, bet on black.
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
I think the
More of it.
movies like this are the ones that get us more
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
All that stuff you named, those are big block.
They're supposed to do that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's IP.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they haven't. But when you have like a brown face, like I saw Transformers, and I was just like, it's really good, and I was like, oh, it's because it has brown people.
Don't they make a difference?
It makes a difference. Like,
such a
I'm
difference.
invested in this story. And I was like, oh, and he got sickle cell? What? like, when was the last time you saw sickle cell as like...
When they use sickle cell as a
As
tool.
somebody who got the trait, I was like, I feel seen.
How come we didn't feel like that when Tyrese was in Transformers?
He was in Transformers?
Why you
Oh,
why you-
Was he the lead?
Charlamagne. Tyrese coming for the DM.
Now, Dwayne, let me ask you a question.
Charlamagne.
Out of the movie, out of
Yeah.
the cast, who is the most black and who is the least black? And the reason I'm asking,
Christ.
because it's part of the movie.
Damn.
Calm
As
down.
in character or like the actor?
Non-black traits.
Well, I'm gonna tell you why. Let me
Yeah.
rephrase.
Oh, Lord.
Because they were trying to figure out who is the most black, and that person was gonna get kicked out, right?
Right.
So who is the most black and who is the least black? Who listens to Taylor Swift on the low?
Hey.
Who?
Hey man, ain't nothing
Don't
wrong
come with
with
these
Taylor
50s.
Swift.
We don't want that kind of smoke.
Why would you do this? Well, if you
don't have to
watch the
answer.
movie,
You
you will see that the lesson of the movie is that you cannot quantify
Yes, black man.
blackness, because who's to say? Do I listen to Taylor Swift?
Possibly.
She got a couple good bops.
Miley Cyrus.
Did I get arrested when I was in 3rd grade? Yes. I did. I had a bully.
Not
He
you
told
got
me this.
arrested
No,
in
he told me
3rd
this story.
grade.
Listen.
Here's the thing.
Tell us that
Growing
story.
up in the south side of Chicago, I don't know why niggas thought that because I was gay that we didn't grow up in the same place. I will stab you.
Jesus,
Hey,
Thug baby over
I
here.
should have had more
Thug baby.
protection from the system.
New movie coming out. How I got arrested in the 3rd grade.
I stand a joke all about it. But no, I mean I feel like it's a ever changing roller coaster of what blackness is. So you can't say who the black is, or least black. And if I did, I have to say myself. I'm the blackest and I'm the least blackest.
Because in the movie they have to decide, about who's the most black, and then one guy, I ain't gonna say who it is, but somebody was like, I'm black, but it was like, but I listen to Taylor Swift all day long, so I'm not as black, and I thought that was hilarious. Did you have to? Is that coming from a place of who you were and not feeling like I have to listen to this type of artist, or I can open up and listen to this? I don't have to be just one way.
Yeah, that was the original purpose of the sketch, of being like, we're talking about blackness through a lens of what people do not perceive as black, in order to be like, oh, and yet we still black. So that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, that's why I like it because it's non-black traits.
Yeah.
Not necessarily you're not black.
Yeah.
It's you have
Yeah.
non-black traits.
Because I promise you, if we bust out with "Feel the rain on your skin," no one else can feel it for you.
I will tell you.
Yes.
Again and again and again. When it's don't ask me for
That's
nothing,
like one white
that is
girl.
my blackening confession. I know no lyrics.
What?
I don't.
that is so
I don't.
real, but
I
she
will
doesn't,
hum.
though.
I will hum, but I will not get the
Grace will
lyrics.
give you
Don't
the
ask.
best
Jay Barrett was just humming too.
I was just humming this one.
Yeah.
But listen,
Okay.
you
My
talk
favorite
about
white woman
smashing
is a singing white
pumpkins.
woman.
Listen, hello. Come on.
That's the beauty of blackness, right? Because even if you are one of these people who may not think you're black, at some point you're going to get your Negro wake-up call.
Yeah.
Oh, not a Negro
absolutely.
wake up call. What was your Negro wake up call, bro?
I never needed one.
He's like, I woke up black.
I'm going to South Carolina.
But also too, like both Antoinette and Yvonne touched on this, right? So it's like Nigerian,
Yes.
American, and then we have Caribbean American, which is what we are. So it's like, again, that's our strength. As Black people, we span the entire globe,
Yeah.
right? So there's different types of Black. There's different types of Black culture, you know, especially when you're talking about those cultural aspects, you know, and some things like we know, we understand, and other things. You come to America, and you're like, snap, okay, this is a
There's
part
zero
of America.
calorie black. There's diet black. There's
Hey.
black.
Suburban black. Your boy. I'm from the burbs, bitch. You know what I'm saying?
I'm from the burbs, bitch.
I would have said southern black, country black.
Yeah,
Jay.
I mean that too.
Yeah.
I was from the burbs. I sit my.
But it's so funny because back in the day, it was like the one drop rule. Like if you had just a drop, they did not care about culture. They were like, you're black. You have a half a drop of blackness in you, and so that just got watered down or thrown out the window because it was just like then. It was like, well, what kind of black are you? Yeah. Whereas back in the day, they were like, I feel like you're black. Yeah. I don't care how light skinned you are. I feel like you're black. And thus, you cannot vote. And thus, you cannot own property or use the toilet or whatever. Yeah. And now, now it's a cultural kind of indication of blackness.
Yeah. I mean, like, hopefully as a culture, we move away from the notion of like white things and black things, because I feel like in instances, there are things that we just weren't exposed to it. Like I wasn't exposed to fencing when I was younger. I mean, who could afford that? Or skiing. But like now I want to go ski with my friends. Why not? Let's go, white water raft. And so it feels like the idea of doing things that are black always felt like, okay, well, because we were excluded from those things, it just kind of was like, well, I'll kind of rag on you because you're doing it because I can't do it or I haven't done it. But like, it'd be nice to move towards a place where we could literally do everything. I sing country music loud when I get upset, and I like, yeah.
What about MAGA?
No.
Very clear. I'm confused with what the question was.
That wasn't even a question.
What about MAGA? No, MAGA is a white thing.
That's a very clear no.
Yeah, all white things are not created equally. But when we penetrate some stuff, we make it fire. Like you were saying, like we weren't allowed to be, like the dude who won the Olympics in swimming. It's like, when we weren't drowning in the ocean, so then like now we go swimming and we're going to win gold medals.
Yeah, it's like y'all used to put acid in pools when black people were in them. So we wasn't winning swimming.
Yeah. But now the tables have turned. Exactly. We're dominating in gymnastics, fencing, swimming, fencing, golf.
F1 racing.
And I think that's why they kept us out. They were like, dang, these magical Negroes. They're going to be amazing.
Trying to keep us away from it, but now exposure is kind of
too late.
Seeing us dominate.
Well, definitely go check out the film. I thought the film was great.
The Blackening.
And we appreciate you guys for joining us.
Can we do
June 16th.
I just want to know if people could chime in on this, because my level of blackness is this. I like to do this. I think everybody knows this.
What is this?
You are my fire, the one. Okay, nobody.
Yes. You
Okay, now Backstreet Boys crosses over cultural boundaries.
I'm with you. I didn't really know that song.
I'm not even saying it on. I really was.
No,
you didn't know it.
And then
You didn't know it either.
It's Backstreet.
I really know it. Give us another one.
Backstreet. Everybody.
Rock your body.
Yeah. DJ Envy.
Rock your body.
Give me some of your nose. Give me some of your nose.
Oh man, the world is a vampire.
What the fuck is that?
I thought you was gonna do
I've been down.
Oh no,
I've been to the bottom of every bottle. Despite what's in my head, scream, are we having fun? Yeah,
I don't know this
I know that's a nigga.
What's this one? I didn't know that one. I didn't know that one.
Only songs could be black though.
That's Tevin Campbell.
To know your name.
You don't know that.
That's why being black is not just one thing.
Exactly.
Because we got all these different
We
genres.
supposed to know Tevin
Everything,
Campbell.
everywhere.
Right.
Even I know Tevin Campbell, okay? No, I'm kidding.
He was testing. That was the black card test.
Who got the keys in my dimmer? Who am I? The goddamn nigga.
Yeah, give me the love roll.
Listen, DJ Envious. DJ, I want you to come down to my ranch and I want you to ride on my brontosauruses that I just grew. I've got brontosauruses. They're beautiful, beautiful. And anybody that doesn't ride it is them discriminating against Jurassic Park and Rick Ross. DJ Envious, come have some chicken wings with me. Lemon pepper is my favorite. You should have them. We should reconcile. We can make a lot of money together.
I'm mad well, it's the Blackening Council Blackening. Go check it out this weekend. And we appreciate you guys for joining us. Thank you so much. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.